pharmaceutical drugs have on human health, right? So it's not something that's an unknown. People do know that medicines, especially pharmaceutical medicines, actually do have a side effect. And in the work we do at iThrive, I mean, we work with a lot of chronic diseases, right? Something as what I would call as basic as hypertension and high BP, to something even more complicated like fibromyalgia, or people who come to us with mental health issues like depression and anxiety and ADHD. We work with a whole host of chronic diseases, and often when people come to us, they've already been prescribed medication, right? So when we look at their blood work, when we do their root cause analysis, we can also see the impact, right? So, for example, somebody who's been on high BP, like hypertension medication, we see how the kidneys get impacted, because the primary modality of a BP drug is to kind of increase diuresis and reduce the volume of fluid in the body. So, there's a lot of load on the kidney. We see how medications that are given for diabetes, and that impacts the liver. So, see, clinically, we have seen this again. Like I said earlier, it's not a big mystery. People know medicines have a side effect. Now, the thing really is how much of the side effects are really known, how much of those have been studied, researched, and published, and how many of those side effects are something that you don't even know are happening at a microcellular level, right? So, and we've seen this, like, see, I didn't even realize this initially, that one of the reasons why people felt so good within the 90 days that they started working with us. Initially, I just thought it's because we're fixing their health dysfunctions, because we're giving them like good quality nutrition. If something's missing, if they have deficiencies, they're taking supplements, and we're making sure they're eating the right kind of food, good protein, good fat, and that is what is making the change. Um, and that plays a big role, right? I'm not denying that at all. But what I also realized is, for a lot of our cases, as we start tapering their medications down, um, they start feeling better. And now I know why is that. So this is based again, like as always, everything with iThrive happens because we have either a clinical experience with one of our patients, or I personally experience something, or somebody from the team experiences something, and then we are like, let's find out why this happened, because we have our geek mode on always. So in the last like 1.5 months, right? Like all of you know, I got a pretty bad viral and a cough and everything. And at that time, I needed to take antibiotics, because that viral kind of became a secondary bacterial infection, because I was experiencing mental stress. And like you all know how stress can make any physiological condition worse. Or maybe we all don't know, and maybe I'll cover that tomorrow in tomorrow's live. Because I teach that in the academy module of when I take the module on stress, we actually see the pathways of how your mental emotional health can make an infection or a toxin or the impact of a deficiency much worse. Anyway, that's what happened with me in the first week of November. So my body couldn't fight off the viral on its own, and then that virus got its best friend, like a little bacteria, which was kind of making it really hard for me to function. So I needed to go on antibiotics. And I've always been pragmatic about allopathy. I'm not somebody who's like, oh, never take allopathic medicines and they're all bad for your health, and allopathy is evil. I have never been like that. Our approach at iThrive also is never like that. We actually partner with allopathic doctors wherever needed in guiding some of our patients. So when I realized that antibiotic was what I needed, I took it. Now, I knew the impact it would have on my gut, right? Because I mean, antibiotics do that. They kind of mess with your gut. They are pretty non-discriminatory about which bacteria they're going to attack. So they end up really messing up your gut microbiome. So I knew that I would have some of those issues, and I took precautions. I took probiotics and enzymes and everything. What I didn't realize is that antibiotic also started impacting my energy production. It started impacting my brain, right? So I was feeling dizzy. I was having this constant brain fog. Like that dizziness was just insane, and I thought it was because of the emotional stuff that was happening at that time, but it wasn't, right? Because that dizziness, it would just, like, I couldn't stand, I couldn't sit, like I'd just be sitting and everything would be revolving. All I wanted to do was sleep all the time, and then I was experiencing extreme fatigue as well. And then, like, I triangulated, so it was like 5 doses or so that I had completed, and then I triangulated that it's every time I take this within the next an hour or so, this is how I start feeling. So I asked my doctor, like, the infection's kind of gone. So can I stop this antibiotic though it's before the prescribed dosage because I'm experiencing so many side effects? And then he of course said yes, and I stopped the antibiotic. And within 24 hours, a lot of those symptoms cleared away. And I was like, okay, yeah, maybe, because I never take antibiotics and because this was a strong one, this is how my body reacted. And I mean, I just let it go there. Um, and at the back of my mind, I knew that long term impact of allopathic medicines is something that we have to educate our clients about, and to talk to them. I did not think too much about the short term consequences. Now, as I started investigating more, let me just see if I can share my screen. I do want to share my screen. Okay. Yeah. Start screen sharing. Yeah. So as I started looking more, I hope you guys can see my screen. I think you can. So this is like such a recent study. This is 10th November 2021, and they investigated of how drugs can have side effects, right? So they were discovering how drugs can affect various membrane spanning proteins. So what you need to know is that the way our body interacts, right? Like every single biochemical action, everything that happens in our body, there is an exchange of information. So there's a peptide that goes, it binds to a receptor. That receptor receives information from that peptide, and then the actions that have supposed to happen out of that binding are taken in the body. So protein plays a big role. These peptides that are going and interacting with their receptors, everything, all your neurotransmitters, everything is constantly in motion, passing information, communicating all the time. Now, what researchers discovered is that drugs can affect various membrane spanning proteins in addition to their intended target, potentially causing unwanted side effects, right? So, this is not even the long term impact of taking a drug for too long. This is you put a drug in your body, immediately is actually going to affect other membrane spanning proteins in addition to what their intended target is, and that can cause a lot of side effects, right? And people knew that there were some classes of drugs that had side effects. So the thing is that these drugs tend to affect many membrane proteins, and we suspected there's some kind of non-specific mechanism at work, right? So, I mean, they did a study, they used gramicidin and potassium channel and all of that, and they could kind of track what was happening. So they found that in three ways membrane-associated drugs could affect these potassium channels. One is they could directly interact with the proteins. Okay, so your body is making these proteins at a cellular level. Your DNA, RNA transcription is happening, and then these drugs are going and directly interacting with the proteins. Then they can also interfere with the protein's structural connections to the membrane, or by causing broad changes in membrane characteristics such as thickness and elasticity. Right. So I mean, this is just recent. Like this is a month ago, and I'm sure as they start researching more and more, they'll start seeing how many other changes, how in how many different ways can any pharmaceutical drug impact you even in a short term. So this is something I wanted to share. Now going back to my most recent, like this is why I wanted to come and talk today, right? So most of you who've seen my lives know that that whatever that viral bacterial infection happened, it kind of left me with a chronic cough. That cough wasn't just going away. I'd be like doing a lot of AK hungal kind of coughing, like and all during my lives, or even when Johan and I would go live, I would mute my speaker or my mic because the cough would just like interfere, right? So I really got tired of it. Like I was like, okay, my body's going to heal, my body's going to heal, my body's going to heal. But then I got tired, and then tomorrow I'm moderating a panel of speakers at the Economic Times Nutrition and Wellness Summit, and then on Sunday I'm actually doing a huge session for the Indian Association of Functional Medicine Practitioners. And I was like, I don't really want to cough during my presentation because like I just don't want to, right? So I was like, let me find a quick fix. Maybe it's time I turn to allopathy because I've done this for a month and a half and it's receded, but it's not going as fast as it should. So I reached out to the doctor again, and I sorry, this is the cough. I asked the doctor what is it that I could do to kind of deal with this, right? And he recommended a few things. There was a steroid also. He said that would kind of really help me recover fast. I didn't want to do steroids because I know effects it has on the cortisol cycle and insulin and everything. So I just took this one medicine that he prescribed called Monter LC. And see, Monter is pretty common. It's given for a lot of people who have allergies like seasonal allergies, asthma, respiratory, allergic rhinitis, itchy eyes, hives, and all of that. A lot of people are given Monter. So I was like, okay, this is a pretty common one given for allergic coughs. I don't think it's going to be bad as a steroid, so let me take it, right? And then I took it day before yesterday night. Now I want to show you something, okay? Or maybe I'll just talk and then share my screen again. So the side effects that I knew of Monter, because the active ingredient in that is known to cause drowsiness. It's known to kind of make you sleepy. So I knew this. So I was like, okay, let me take it in the night and I'll sleep early so that I have enough time to wake up and get my workout done in the morning. I took it in the night. Needless to say, I started feeling drowsy. My brain kind of went into snooze mode. So from when somebody from my team asked me a question, I was like, I can't even give you an answer because my brain's just not working. And then I went to sleep. I woke up. Of course, I was very groggy in the morning. Like I didn't even. Usually, I wake up without an alarm, but even a 6 a.m. alarm felt like I had not slept enough. So I woke up without an alarm. I mean, I woke up because of the alarm, and then I went and did my yoga class. And now this is where it began to get interesting, right? Because I woke up and I like just did stuff I had to do, and then I came back, and then I started sensing that. I was getting irritated and agitated for no apparent reason. Like nothing was wrong in my reality, right? But there was this background feeling of just me happening in my head. Okay, like I was just getting extremely irritable about everything. Everything was causing irritation. And because I am kind of extremely aware of how my mind is at any point of time, how my mood is at any point of time, I live a very conscious life. I really like being aware of my moment like on a day-to-day basis. So I was like, where is this coming from? This is not me. And then I was like, maybe it is that medicine, right? And I kind of let it go. But the brain fog was still there. The irritation wasn't just going. I couldn't process information very easily. Like somebody was saying something and it would take 2 minutes for it to hit my brain. And I was like, okay, definitely drug interactions. And I was getting put off by the smallest of things. And I was like, okay, now let me go do in my research because it seems like something's definitely off. And then this is what I found. Okay, so I'm going back and sharing my screen. Okay, this is publicly available information. Okay, so this is the side effects of Monter LC. Okay, I can understand these are pretty intense, right? Like allergic reaction, if you're allergic to the drug itself, and then this also may be like a pretty intense reaction. But look at this sudden mood changes like getting agitated, aggressive, having suicidal thoughts. This is the side effect of a drug that is given for allergic reactions, and I can think of the pathway why. If it's going to work on your immune system, if it's going to make your immune system pause, and if it's going to tell your immune system don't react to a certain allergen or trigger from the environment, how is it doing that? Because your immune system receives feedback from all aspects of your body. Your brain is highly involved in the response mechanism. So somewhere there, this drug was going and also affecting my brain, and my brain didn't like it. And then all of these, like thankfully I was not suicidal yesterday, but I was extremely agitated and like feeling aggressive and all of that. And look at this, this medication is known to cause drowsiness, especially in the initial hours, like refraining yourself from activities like driving or using machinery. This is the side effect of a over-the-counter drug. And how many times do you think it's possible that people are taking medications? And this is what I really wanted to address. Like, how many times do you think people are taking medications that are triggering their behavior changes, and then people think that is who they are? It is the most unfortunate thing that can happen to a human being. I was feeling irritable and agitated and aggressive, and I told my team in the morning in the opening circle that guys, something's wrong with my brain. I'm feeling like this. So if I yell or if I say something, like it's not who I am, right? But that's because I know who I am otherwise. Imagine somebody who's on a medication for as long as they can remember, and that medicine is causing their personality changes. That medicine is causing certain behavioral traits, and everybody in their life thinks that's who they are. Everybody, even that person thinks that's who they are, right? So what if a medication is triggering your anxiety? What if a medication is triggering an obsessive compulsive kind of behavior and you think, oh, I am OCD, and you put that label on yourself and then you live through life thinking that is who you are? It is one of the most unfortunate things that can ever happen to a human being. And I mean, I would do anything in my power to take all those labels off, to get you off all of those medications, because you deserve to live like how a human does, which is in a sense of balance, filled with love, filled with laughter, filled with life, thinking of growth, thinking of all the amazing things you can do, thinking of having fun, thinking of doing things with your friends, and not really feeling like this like those moods can happen, they can be triggers for that, right? But if that's how you're feeling through the day, like how I was yesterday, then something that's going into your body is making you do that. That is not our natural state as human beings. Our natural state as human beings is a state of love. Take it from me, humans are meant to vibrate at a state of love. We are meant to be like that. And I really, like, if you aren't in that state, something's off. And I would love to figure out what that off is and get you out of that and bring you back into that state of love, because that's what my job is. Okay, so maybe who you are as a person, with all the assorted labels that you put on yourself, the ones that you don't like, maybe you are that because of something that's going into your body, and that's not who you truly are. I just shared my own experience with two medications in the span of 1.5 months. Clinically, I'm telling you, in iThrive, we've seen this happen with so many patients over and over and over again, that they think it's the food and supplements. I used to think that as well, but actually it's the entirety of what we do, taking them off their medications, working on their energy levels, bringing all of that love and laughter and life back into their bodies, and that's how they really begin to heal. So that's all for today. I think I will cover the aspect of stress that I spoke about tomorrow, and I'll talk about that. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.